So hello again, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bach, and today I am interviewing Stephen Smith, the assistant conductor of the Bach Choir, as well as our temporary fill-in accompanist. Replacement accompanist, while Amber is away. So thanks so much, Stephen, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So I got to ask you, how long have you been involved with the Bach Choir?
I think since 2001 was the year that Bruce asked me to take on this job.
And had you been singing with the choir before that?
No, not at all. I'd been to some of their performances, but that was it.
So you joined, started singing, and became assistant conductor all at once?
And you know, the strange thing is, I don't believe Bruce had ever seen me conduct a bar of music at that point, and he hired me to be his assistant at UBC and for this group at the same time. On the strength of what, I don't know. He had heard me play the piano, but that was about all.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. You must be...
He must have assumed that I had some conducting. He knew that I conducted, so that was about all he knew.
And so in addition to being the assistant conductor of the Bach Choir, you're involved with a number of other choirs.
I am, 5 currently and counting. 5 regularly every week and others occasionally, but yes.
And how many do you conduct?
2.5, let's say, that I am involved with conducting.
You conduct half a choir, or you spend half your time as a conductor?
Something like that, yes.
And the other 2.5 you are...
I'm sitting at the piano, yeah.
So in addition to your extensive conducting acumen, you bring a really significant experience with the piano.
Well, that's been my main thing for most of my life. I was briefly an organist / pianist, but for the most of my life now I've been focused on the piano.
And not being a pianist myself, I'm going to ask you some stupid questions about being a pianist. You hear a lot about the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto.
The third, oh yeah.
What would you say is the most difficult piano piece out there?
Oh, well, there's some very, outre piano pieces. Messiaen has written, volumes of very difficult stuff, and it's a British guy, of Indian descent. I was trying to think of his name, but very complex stuff. I don't know if it's the hardest. There's also very virtuosic stuff. Prokofiev, Second Piano Concerto comes to mind as one of the hardest things. I mean, I don't know that you can peg just one. There's a lot of very tough stuff.
And what's your favorite to play?
Favorite composer?
Or favorite piano piece?
I don't know that I have a favorite piece either. There's just too much to reduce it down. I love playing Brahms, Schumann, Prokofiev, Messiaen, some of those. Rachmaninoff too, actually. Yeah.
Would you be willing to play us a few bars of something you like?
Lord.
Just to put you on the spot a little bit.
You certainly have.
Just anything that comes to mind.
Well, Brahms. They're singing along. One of the intermezzi from Opus 118.
Oh, nice. And so, with all the conducting and accompanying that you do you play a lot by yourself as well?
Not a lot, sadly. No, I don't have much time for that anymore. Maybe someday that will come back. When I do, I sort of often pull out the Bach Preludes and Fugues and sit with those for a while.
I can say the Bach First Prelude in C major is my ringtone.
Is it?
Not that I can play it worth anything, but
you can have it ringing at you all day.
I can. And
how lovely.
Random information. So what's your favorite choral work that you sang with the Bach Choir?
Walton, Belshazzar's Feast. I think that one I can answer.
I don't even know
Did you sing that one?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
It's a great piece. It's just exultant, a big, huge orchestra, big brassy stuff going on, and xylophones and all kinds of craziness. And it's a very dramatic story, concisely told. And the choir gets these exultant things to sing. I think it's wonderful.
And so do you listen to a lot of music, like you have an iPod or...
I do. I carry my little iPod around with me now.
So if I were to press play on your iPod, what would I hear right now?
You would find a very eclectic mix, I would have to say. There's Sting and Annie Lennox and Gilbert and Sullivan and Mahler, and and they sometimes follow each other in very bizarre ways.
Can't imagine Gilbert and Sullivan following Mahler. They're kind of disparate.
It's odd, let me tell you, when that happens, yes.
Little climbing over Rocky Mountain and then Veni Creator Spiritus kind of thing.
It happens on your iPod. Anything is possible.
Anything's possible. And so what are you the most looking forward to this season?
Mahler 8, gotta be. I haven't sung the work, and I may not sing it this time because I'll be spending all the rehearsal period at the piano. But just every encounter with that piece is a thrill. I get goosebumps at every rehearsal.
Why the Mahler?
It's beyond imagination. The guy just went wild with that piece in particular. I mean, he was pretty wild all the time, but it seems to me this piece has harmonies, melodies out of nowhere. You can't believe that he used only the 12 notes, the same 12 notes that all the other composers used, and he somehow got these effects with it.
Fair enough. And one last question for you. If you got to conduct one piece that you've never done before and you've never had the chance to do, what would you choose?
Well, I guess I'd have to say Belshazzar's Feast for some of the same reasons that it's such a blast to sing. It would have to be a big blast to conduct it too, I would think.
Don't want to conduct Mahler's 8th?
That one I would postpone a little while.
Is it as big to conduct as it is to sing?
It's got to be a huge challenge to conduct. I know. I just happened to see the maestro, Tovi, who's going to conduct our performance, and he's looking forward to it already. But I imagine he's also preparing heavily for it, as anyone would have to.
Working out at the gym, spending a few hours on the treadmill.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us today, and it's been great having you.
Thank you.
Thanks.